say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. You like a pill.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. With that, we have two more best of twos to go. TNC.Predator up against HuyaWorldE-sports, followed by another TNC game, so... We got Rise coming into this already a bit tired. They just had to play a series, now playing the next one, and... Team TNC, well... They could rest up, they could just talk about their strategies until now and come into the series set up and ready for a stomp. They pick the Beastmaster, they pick the Grimstroke, already having a huge combo here, as well as just efficient amount of push to pretty much dominate this game. HuyaWorldE-sports, they open up with the Ember Spirit Lich combo. One of the more powerful combos out there in the current meta. I really like that there are so many opening combos as well. You can also go Dragon Knight plus Oracle. That's also just as. And the fact that there's a large variety of stuff like that to do, you know, it really keeps things exciting. Phantom Assassin now getting picked up by the side of TNC.Predator, feeling their carry very early on, but that's one of those heroes. If she snowballs, the game is over in 20-25 minutes from when it started. A very momentum-based hero, a very snowball-based hero, which could make for a quick series, or a quick first game to the series here, I meant to say. HuyaWorldE-sports, they're upset with this pick, and I can understand. That's just a pick you really don't want to be up against. They could pick up something like a Winter Wyvern for the second support. Great against the Beastmaster Creep Army, great against the Phantom Assassin. It's gonna be an accent stat. And TNC.Predator, I wonder what they're gonna do about this X. They still need magical nuke damage anyhow, and that's usually the most comfortable heroes on the mid lane, so in that regard their draft works out like that. What type of a hero trick that is entirely? I mean, I would really love to see an Invoker. I'm not sure if TNC still play that. Be an amazing hero while he's not that strong in the current draft. Him countering Axe, him countering Lich, and even being able to lock down the Ember Spirit, preventing him from remnanting. Okay, TNC, they want to play this aggressively. They want to run people down and make their life difficult. Rise. Picking a Dark Willow into a Weaver, that seems a bit risky, but with the Axe, they do have a good combo going. Dark Willow Ember Spirit is huge because Dark Willow ultimate forcing everybody to back off to then Slayer Fist, Searing Chain catch in. It's such a great combo. I really like what Rise are going for here, what they're setting up for themselves. still TNC. They seem really confident with their draft, because if they do everything right, this is one of those drafts that just runs over Ryze, but if the Weaver, if the Phantom Assassin get shut down, then this could become a very hard game. The Dark Willow and the Ember Spirit could really just do a lot of carrying, do a lot of nuking with the triple Remnant plus that Dark Willow ultimate. Morphling, a pretty solid last ban, and Jagger got banned against it. I wonder what the next ban is gonna be. I mean, the Necrophos here I like. The Jagger ban? I just don't think TNC.Predator are that greedy, so Ryze is trying to get them to be Axe as a hero with very little late game scaling. A hero who really relies on initiation, so having a Terrorblade to make up for that, who also greatly benefits from having a tank to initiate for him, that does make for a strong draft. But TNC.Predator, they're not even the slightest bit phased. They pick up an OD who is great against the Terrorblade, who is just great against this draft in general. I mean, the only one to really make OD's life difficult is the Axe if he lands a call. And the Terrorblade once he becomes fed, but a fed Terrorblade against a fed OD is still a very close matchup, so that's just carries out farming one another. And we are about ready to load in here. I'm really curious to see how this game works out. I'm really curious to see if TNC.Predator gets to start snowballing with the hyper-aggressive draft, or if they're just letting Ryze's Terrorblade come online here by accident. I mean, Ryze, they did so well with that anti-mage. They've proven that they're the masters of space creation, and if you've proven that, you can get away with picking something like a Terrorblade, I think, too, which is technically even greedier, and Gale's way better than an anti-mage as well when you have Demon Form up, when you have just 6-7 Illus, all in ranged mode, all firing away with you. People are gonna melt, but that can only happen if he doesn't just get run down by a Weaver, doesn't get to have a life at all.
Your future is grim. I am ill-disposed toward you.
So, it looks like we're just playing the waiting game here. Well, the hero hunting game, I guess. We got ourselves a pause with these highly promising drafts. I'm hoping the technical difficulties won't prevail, because I'm eager to jump into this. We got two more. We got like this and another best of two after this to go through. So plenty of Dota coming up anyhow that I really want to get to casting. I'm grateful to Huya TV and Naimo for sponsoring this cup, because man, this has been some of the funnest Dota I've ever casted. And some of the most boring matches as well, I gotta admit, where the teams just both farm, just both constantly avoid one another's smokes and end up dragging the game out for like 55 minutes or something. So we got another pause, even more network problems. At least that's giving us some time to truly appreciate. Oh yeah, no, animations were bugged, so we can't even truly appreciate the edgy Terrorblade aesthetic. OD looking pretty edgy too, though. Weaver also got one sexy loadout going on. I wonder if this Weaver is gonna succeed in shutting down the Terrorblade. The go is being called. And I wonder if this Weaver is gonna go for the Diffuser Blade at all. I'm not a fan of it. I think you should just get the level 15 talent plus a Desolator or something. Because while the Mana Break is comfy, a Javelin or a Desolator both end up doing so much more, so much longer into the late game. And as a Weaver, you're not really a carry like Terrorblade, like Phantom Assassin, who can pick up Battle Furies to farm, who can use illusions to farm, and you right click, so don't want to be that kind of carry that replaces items. Weaver here already dishing out a lot of damage, as both teams really love to get that top rune going, but it looks like Terrorblade will get that one. Dark Widow actually managed to snatch away the top rune too, so Rise, they get a pretty big rune advantage. Weaver, however, eager for more with that Beastmaster, really bringing the hurt. More wild access to make sure that Terrorblade's damage block isn't going to keep him alive for too much longer. And there's the Sakuchi to finish off the kill. One more pair of axes. He didn't actually get to connect there. If he had connected with the Sakuchi, Terrorblade would be dead for sure now. But Weaver still did his job, and I think it's a support Weaver here, actually. Okay, then you may want to build Diffu Blade just for the activatable of it. But this lane is so hard on the Terrorblade, and one more right-click and Blade would be dead, but Weaver can't quite get it in. With the Tango, nope. I think if he had just rolled higher damage, it would have been insane already. TNC, they want to get their PA to snowball and then team fight. They really want to run over the enemies here. I just wonder what type of Weaver Tim's is gonna play here. I hope he's gonna start going for a couple of carry items. It's gonna start having impact on this game. I like Maelstrom on Weaver as well. I know a lot of people don't build Maelstrom anymore because teamfight damage admittedly is ridiculously low nowadays. Unless you're a Pangolier or something. But the amount of farm it gives you on a hero like Weaver is just ridiculous. Basically pays for itself really quickly. And speaking of paying for itself, the Weaver goes down. But the Weaver goes down for getting the Beastmaster a double kill. Terrorblade does not get to have a lane here whatsoever. Gabby now also struggling admittedly. But this Phantom Assassin already got a ton of gold. X gets a huge creep wave to just spin through and farm up. This top lane just making Terrorblade's life difficult. Well, PA, she's not even being that shut down, and you can't really shut her down completely because she can always last with daggers. Dark Widow, meanwhile, barely teleporting out of there with just a sliver of health. One more PA dagger or whatever would have done it. But she has a wand, so she also gets to heal up from all of those daggers being tossed. And with no more kill potential available on the top lane, the game has quieted down quite significantly. Courier from Blade killed off though, and so will Tim's. However, on the bot lane, no catch. There's no Berserker's Call connecting, so it's just a Weaver support dying on the top lane to the Lich Terrorblade combo. I mean, Ryze's top lane finally getting stuff done again. Terrorblade got the fancy demon projectiles as well, plus the Arcana. That's such a cool combo loadout. The Arcana demon throwing the freaking blades. Templar Assassin still very much ahead in CS. Plus you gotta keep in mind Terrorblade was shut down once, now Weaver gonna sacrifice himself for killing off the Lich. Not that good of a move actually, since it nets Terrorblade plus gold. And on the bottom lane we can see Axe go down to the Templar Assassin. Gabby just decides to walk that one off. It does hurt as none of the shots missed, but hey, you can just eat a tree and be fine. Getting a solve there. This PA, if she gets good face boots timing and gets to roll all over the enemy team, then this could really be her game. Another pause it seems. Just as runes are about to spawn as well. Okay, go has been called. Grimstroke, I mean, just playing the Meepo game. Terrorblade will secure the rune and in all likelihood just die for it. If he had denied himself, that would have been such an awesome play there too. Gonna lie, but everyone's really just waiting for Gabby's PA to come online. No longer opting for those phase boots, instead gonna go for the full power threats. I mean, if you go phase boots, you always have to keep a glove of haste on you anyways. OD gets ganked by a Lich and just goes on down with Ember Spirit's already amazing poke damage. Lich just looking to make recovery stacks for the Ember Spirit as well as the Terrorblade. Yeah, that slow was a bit of a fail because the creeps body blocked one another. If you go for the slow pull, you need to use that on the first camp. I learned that the hard way as well. And there we got TB Illus launching freaking blades again, the real Terrorblade. He throws those things, they really hurt. And my bad for confusing PA and TA if I did so. I know PA is the dagger throwing and critting one, and TA is the fraction and armor melting one. I've been casting a lot of Templar Assassins though the last couple of days. That hero's really popular, so muscle memory and all that. This, however, is a PA, and if this PA does get her crits online finally, then she is really going to hurt. Speaking of really hurting, Grimstroke also just going down. He will get a two-man stun and another Ink Rave on the Dark Willow there, but really just all creating space for Gabby's Phantom Assassin. OD gonna catch the Lich and decides to just ult him down while forcing Ember Spirit back to go home. TNC, they're actually pulling ahead pretty solidly here. Despite the gold being ever so slightly in favor for Team Rise, who are finally getting some recovery farm on the Terrorblade. If we switch over to Gold Network, you can see Terrorblade just doing its usual thing, taking the illusions to the jungle. I mean, people have done that in Warcraft 3, even on the Blade Master. And it looks like March just going to die once again. He is one of those supports who doesn't mind dying for the team, who oftentimes just charges at the enemy to distract them from a carry being out of position if he has to. On a Grimstroke, you really don't want to go down that often. You really do need a couple of items at least. Rise just tearing down the bot tier 1. Over on the middle lane, Amel gonna go down to the Ember Spirit Master. I think he was gonna go for the roar there, had Ember Spirit not remnanted out. Bot lane. March, he finally does get solo experience. He finally does get to catch up in the level department before the 10-minute bounty rune spawn. It looks like Stroke almost being caught out, but instead the Dark Widow gets turned on, gets killed off. Elsewhere, Lit got killed off by the OD as well. Weaver securing that kill is just huge. Beastmaster throwing out the wild axes as well to just add that extra damage to every one of those right clicks. Axe, he's just straight up dead. Gonna get stunned by the Timber Saw. Gabby. He almost has the Desolator, and he is gonna go for the Desolator rather than the Battle Fury. He indeed doesn't wanna farm and just also go full snowball all over Rise. I wonder if OD is gonna pick up an Aghanims early on. He is opting for the Force Staff right now. I mean, Axe on OD, if you opt for it as one of your core items, then you go for it relatively early on. If not, then you just play the typical orb damage OD, right-clicking people to the death. Assassin continuing to farm up. It's gonna be so fun once these players get their ridiculous damage online. Right now, both teams kind of playing it quiet. I mean, TNC, they shut down the Terrorblade a decent deal early on, but that hero's recovery farm is just too good because of all the illusions he has to work with. He already has Dragonlance completed, now opting for that farming Yash to turn into a Manta style, and Axe killed off March at the bottom lane where he and Weaver were trying to go for a kill themselves. TB would love to put some of his bazillion damage onto the tower, and look at that. The Beastmaster creeps dying, the tower dying, everything that TB says will get torn down. That's the thing about Terrorblade, especially with his demon form. When he's online, he's really online. And right now he's only ahead a little bit in money and in attributes. But with that demon form, that little bit of being ahead translates to a lot of attack speed, and as such, a lot of damage to make the game difficult. Phantom Assassin, once she gets that Desolator, she is gonna start, well, being in a position where she can try to 2-crit kill Terrorblade, or at the very least jump him in the hopes you get a crit at all. with the free invisibility, you should be able to safely disengage still. At least until Terrorblade gets an MKB. That's where the action will really kick off. The mid lane, a fight is gonna break out, but nobody really caught. Bramble Maze. I mean, at this level, everybody knows the formation time of it. Everybody knows how to walk around it. That's just something these players have played against often enough to know by now. And both TB and Phantom Assassin just farming cash for now. Pushing where they can while generating as much money as possible. Smoke is gonna break as Grimstroke will get caught. Like I said before, that's one of those supports you really can't let snowball. However, OD and Gabby's Phantom Assassin, you can't let snowball either. Dark Willow running all the way over there until Beastmaster finally catches her with the roar. Phantom Assassin will take the kill. And that's Team Rise just getting team wiped. Or well, almost getting team wiped for the first time. Thankfully they haven't lost their Terrorblade, who wasn't fighting. But they have very little to defend with now. Axe gonna come in once again with a Berserker's Call. This time it's huge onto two people, so the Lich ultimate gonna bounce and bounce. Not really dishing out that much damage to heroes, but OD just can't do anything as Terrorblade and his Illusion Army right-click him down with 1,000 flying blades. Spirit zip zapping to and fro, taking out a good chunk of damage with the Beastmaster. Master not gonna be caught by the Bramble Maze there. Weaver opting for that first item Aghanims that you see support Weavers go for so often. I mean, the advantage of support Weaver is that you don't have to buy boots in order to do your job. Like, yeah, you have a very limited mana pool, but as a support, the items you're allowed to buy, the items you have to buy for your team already help you with that. I mean, Aghanim Scepter alone, so in that regard. Yules too, very popular on support Weavers, and later on maybe even Orchid, although I think OD is just 10 times better Orchid carrier if TNC.Predator choose. Go for one of those. Roshan with that Desolator and those crits. Just gets taken apart, his health pool though. Well, if that's how quickly Roche goes down, I don't want to know how quickly Terrorblade goes down. If even just Phantom Assassin, I mean, plus the Outworld Devourer are hitting same target for a little bit. Assassin gonna step forward, gonna start working on that tower. Will get called by the Axe, but look at that crit. Look at Axe just dying during Berserk Call. Ember Spirit tried to use the chance, deal as much damage as he can, and will dish out quite a lot. Terrorblade got Grimstroke ulted, but only now got tied for the Ember Spirit for half a second. Not really leaving any room for an opening. Terrorblade still man fighting. Weaver getting himself out of there with his ultimate as Armel will just go on down on the Outworld Devourer. Team Rise, they have won a fight and they want to turn this 1-1 fight into as much of a lead as they can possibly get. Terrorblade, he's not even all that far behind anymore. He got shut down so hard early on, but as a Terrorblade, if you have 12k net worth by the 20-minute mark, then you're pretty much on point with the timing that you want in a major, on a big stage, you know. And he now has a Manta style to accelerate his farm even further. Gabby opting for the BKB now. That is a huge and very valuable item, especially here, because Lich plus Dark Widow can just shut you down, can just keep the Phantom Assassin away from any single one of their carries. Rise. They go for a wraparound on the OD. Just wanted to D-push against the Terrorblade illusions, try and stop Terrorblade from farming for a second. That's a lot easier said than done. Two-man Beastmaster row with the Grimstroke ultimate, and that's just gonna be X dropping. Ember Spirit will be the next to die. However, with the Lich ultimate, he's gonna stay alive for a while. Lich now got killed up for that one. Phantom Assassin gets taken off the map. Ember Spirit gonna be the next one to fall, but will get off one more Slayer Fist, trying to Remnant out of there, and he will succeed. While BTL got killed up by the Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin is online. TNC Pro team. Oh no, this is TNC.Predator actually. But they do take a fight, and they do kill off the Ember Spirit. Not quite. There we go. TMO just created so much space there, but in the end he ends up going down. Terrorblade is gonna resume farming for a while. Just wants that Eye of Skadi to allow his illusions to get more hits in on everyone. And it looks like Lich will just be cleaned off of the map as well with a huge crit. Gabby just flattering him down instantaneously. The gold lead this game has been so close as well. Both of these teams just constantly catching up and outwitting one another when it comes to farming, when it comes to making stacks, and when it comes to securing the superior momentum. PA just tearing down that tower with the Desolator. Well, Terrorblade is sending his Illus to go do some pushing work as well, and I mean, with how hard these Illus are hitting from a Terrorblade, first tier 3 is already starting to crumble a little bit. I mean, yeah, he needs to do that 10 more times in order to get the tower down, but it's not like Terrorblade's own life is at risk. It's not like feeding much money like you would with a Necrobook either. They're just relatively low value Illus he can send in over and over again. Meanwhile, Rise smoking up, go towards the top lane where OD has shown himself before. However, he has TP out. The smoke could even reveal where he is, but looks like OD won't yet be found. And TNC, they are now going to go for a smoke of their own. Rise. 4 of their heroes have shown on the map. They're gonna smoke up again, however. I wonder if they're expecting TNC to just run towards their face. Well, apparently they are, or it works out anyhow. X gets a call on the Phantom Assassin. Start of that fight. Phantom Assassin now turning on the BKB, looking to damage anyone. Gets Weaver ulted as she's going on the Axe. It's gonna stay alive. Axe still surviving, but Gabby finally did get dropped. Weaver running for his life now. It's gonna barely That one. OD takes X off the map for a while. The Phantom Assassin, well, only I say, Phantom Assassin is the main carry of TNC. But if it's only the Phantom Assassin and Grimstroke dying, it could be far, far worse, considering how that was. Terrorblade's Metamorphosis put on cooldown for more than a minute. Everyone knows that's its true ultimate. That's the true scaling of the Terrorblade carry. And Terrorblade almost has his Skadi finished up as well, so TNC, they're set up for a hard game now. As Gabby, he needs to get himself a Skull Bash, he needs to get himself some kind of lifesteal. He's already saving up for both of those things, but if you're not able to keep hitting X in that scenario for a while longer, if you're not able to comfortably just AFK while your hero is in the team fight, right-clicking people left and right, well, you don't of course completely AFK, you throw a couple of daggers and stuff like that, but generally as a Phantom Assassin you want to be in a state where you can hit anyone and be happy as long as you're getting hits. And even if it's an axe in his taunt, even if it's a Centaur Warrunner with a blade mail on, you want to be able to hit him and be happy from it. That's why Satanic is one of the most popular items on Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin will get caught by 3 and will turn around on all 3 of them. Gets stunned, gets Bramble Maced. With that, the entirety of Rise are going to be able to get out of there. Now, however, just grouped up, just looking for 5-man fight initiations, whereas Team TNC, they still have their OD elsewhere on the map free farming, making sure they compensate for the money they're losing here and there. I wonder what the TB is gonna go for after this MKB. I mean, if anything, the game may already be over once Terrorblade gets himself an MKB, because you see yourself how hard those illusions are hitting. You see yourself the amazing damage that TB with his army are just outputting by doing nothing but right-clicking. Speaking of right-clicking, TNC, they're pushing down the bottom tower, melting that one with the Desolator on the Phantom Assassin. That's one of the coolest things on the Phantom Assassin. The item you go for, if you want to play the game aggressively, if you just want as much damage right now as possible, is the Desolator, which also helps you to push and end the game before you get punished for building a Desolator instead of a Battle Fury or similar item. Blades Terrorblade, meanwhile, just going ham on a tier 2. Metamorphosis not yet activated. Terrorblade, he just wants to open up the map. If they're already trading towers, in this trade, definitely a victory for TNC, as it's a 2-for-1 trade. Giving TNC a little bit of extra tower gold to help keep themselves relevant against this fat Terrorblade. Terrorblade hit the jungle, they should have ganked him, and they didn't quite manage to pull it off. So now they're getting punished for that till they start ganking Terrorblade again with a couple of smokes and stuff. Riot's just gonna have a pretty good game here. They do kill off Beastmaster once again, and the game has got to be hard for TNC at this point. I don't think they expected to sweat this much when they made this draft, because this draft is really what you go for if you plan to run down an opponent, if you plan to not give them any recovery, if you want a 25-minute push in their tier 3 towers with your Beastmaster. And I mean, when it comes to pushing, TNC are doing an amazing job of that. Phantom Assassin got a pair of spider legs. As if she wasn't already mobile and annoying enough. She has the lifesteal too, almost a full Satanic, so if she then can then just stick to one target, keep hitting one target, she is gonna heal herself with so much rate that the enemy can't really defend against it. Terrorblade, he's got his MKB, he's opting for the butterfly now. Very nice last item, especially since Phantom Assassin does not like to pick up an MKB herself, and even if she has to, it's gonna take her a while to get there. I mean, Skull Basher goes through evasion too, and that is one of the weaknesses of Terrorblade, as it is of any ranged carry. But without a Battle Fury, if Terrorblade just has a couple of illusions next to him and he has the Metamorphosis on, then while the Phantom Assassin is up in his face, is hitting him, those illusions can do work on her as well. He can swap the health pool with her, then just once the real one gets to it as well, kill off the Phantom Assassin still, that matchup. Oh, look at that, Terrorblade walks up in there, hits the OD in the face a grand couple of times with his Skadi, still going ham, looking for a kill on the Weaver, but gets taken down in the end with a stun from the Beastmaster and Phantom Assassin's BKB. PA with the BKB, looking to run down more heroes, chasing up the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit triple remnanting out of there, and he is gonna be just fine teleporting away. Phantom Assassin now turns on the Lich. Lich pretty much just dead here, as Outworld Devourer committed as well. PA will secure herself a ton of gold. Weaver actually got the kill there with the Sukuchi plus Gemini attack, and now the Roche is gonna go in favor of TNC as well. Roche is gonna get taken down near uncontested here actually. Team Rise, okay, maybe not. Those crits have stopped coming out. And in comes the Axe, wanting to finish off Roche. Phantom Assassin gets taunted, is standing on top of the Aegis, but Axe finally picks it up. Is gonna die once, but without the second life on Gabby. TNC can't now comfortably run down the enemy base. Lich ultimate comes flying in, and Gabby will finish off the Lich for having the audacity to throw that one out there. Out the Terrorblade. That was a fight Team Rise were bound to lose, but now Team Rise have a Terrorblade and nobody to frontline for him. Can't really make use of that Metamorphosis until everyone is back. I mean, the Metamorphosis is on cooldown anyhow, so I think that's why Terrorblade wasn't at that fight, but now Terrorblade is gonna get caught. Phantom Assassin coming in there, critting him for 1k to the face. Grimstroke ultimate just to make sure that Dark Widow can't come too close to him. Terrorblade swapping health with the Phantom Assassin, as Phantom Assassin still wants to get within his range. Blade taking a lot of damage by the Phantom Assassin there with the lifesteal. Phantom Assassin is gonna win that 1v1. Just barely. Two carries hitting themselves in the face with everything they got. Down goes the Dark Willow as well. There is no Aegis, but still, this is TNC's time to push. They can now finally besiege the dire high ground. Mid-tier 2 tower gets taken down by the Phantom Assassin. And she took the Cleave talent to be able to push out lanes even quicker. In that team fight too, she was hitting people with Cleave, because a lot of times where Phantom Assassin jumps in is where the most people are as close to one another as possible. And she does have a Grimstroke backing her up, so if you see two people close together, you can tie them together. Axe gonna come on in with a very nice two-man call, but OD is there to the rescue. Phantom Assassin just gonna satanic up. Axe gets stunned in the front lines, and Phantom Assassin is gonna kill him off, shred him to bits. Couple of big crits. Terrorblade's back though, and that means TNC gotta get out of there. They got a tier 3 tower though, plus a tier 2. So everything they need until the next Roche is up. They can just go back to farming, go back to looking for pickoffs as well, because if you get a couple of those, if you just get a kill on Ember Spirit, Terrorblade or Dark Willow for 5 stars, then you can just march up the high ground. Don't really have to worry about getting countered, don't really have to worry about the enemy beating you back. We're on the bottom lane, meanwhile, Ember Spirit just doing some remnant split pushing here. While saving up for his Aghanim Scepter. Dark Willow going for a very cocky TP, but isn't gonna get punished. Master Roar still at 3 seconds off left off the cooldown there. Or else that would have been a kill. Weaver, meanwhile, continuing to just go with that support build, opting for a Loadstorm here. I mean, the ability to purge a lot of the stuff that Team Rise can do is pretty huge. The Searing Chains already super annoying because they're a lot of damage plus the root. And it looks like we have ourselves a catch on the axe as rocking the Blade Mail, doing his best to stay alive. Phantom Assassin is gonna jump him. Lich has made the mistake of hypnotic gazing her after the axe was already dead. Ember Spirit remnanting back, but the Beastmaster is gonna interrupt his TP with a call, and that's gonna be the Ember Spirit down as well. 3-0. TNC.Predator pulling ahead, running down the middle lane. You've seen what they can do if Phantom Assassin gets to hit towers. Terrorblade just trying to shove out the lane with a couple of illusions. And Gabby going to take at least one lane of Rex here, but probably more. I mean, until Ember Spirit is back, Team Rise can't properly defend, but it looks like even with the Beastmaster creep army available, they don't quite want to push that one instead. Grimstroke gets a kill on BTL in the support versus support battle. I don't know how he pulled that one, but he is now saving for an Aghanims, which is so much bigger. Because that Grimstroke Aghanims, it's amazing. He just makes basically a Darkseer wall clone of somebody every 45 seconds, and it lasts for 15 seconds. It's pretty huge if Grimstroke could get that up on the Terrorblade in its ranged form. And we could just watch Terrorblade torn apart by an not even real stronger Terrorblade. Wow, Lich just got one-shotted there. Axe ran at by the Phantom Assassin as well, and one big crit after another. Down goes the Axe. Gabby securing himself a double kill with the Weaver behind him to keep him safe. He can go that far forward, he can make those cocky plays. If he oversteps his boundaries, he can just get Weaver ulted back. He can even jump in the fountain that way if he feels like it. And now we're going to see TNC's push in action as second this high ground vector protection has been lifted. And that means this tower is just gonna get melted. Beastmaster not even able to bring in the creep army there. It's just a Phantom Assassin and an OD hitting the tower so far. And it's already a pretty good amount of push. Axe still dead for 12 seconds. That's more than enough to take the Medirex and then just get back out of there. I mean, TNC, they are under no obligation to fight here. They can now just continue sieging up the dire half of the map, prevent Terrorblade from farming jungle, while waiting for pickups to show up here and there in order to pick them off the map. Get another chance to walk up the high ground. And TNC, they know this all too well, so Rise trying to bring the fight to them is forcing TNC to back off, reposition themselves. There is the call on the Phantom Assassin. Terrorblade comes on in, would love to put all of his damage onto her, but she dodges the Willow ult, puts on the BKB, kills off the Ember Spirit, who immediately buys back. An OD ultimate is gonna kill off the Axe there, and Terrorblade, who was saved, is now gonna go down as well. Lich manages to teleport himself out of there, and the last one still alive and left in the fight is the Dark Willow, who is gonna go down. Team Rise, they've already committed a lot of buybacks to that fight, and they're still down one hero, so TNC can just walk high ground, just force the issue here. Phantom Assassin, really eager to man fight, is just gonna full heal herself, killing off the Lich together with the OD. Now, Ember Spirit is the next target, but then she goes for the Dark Willow instead, triple dagger, and the dagger on Terrorblade crits. Not even allowing him to use an ultimate. Terrorblade is down without buyback, and that's gonna be GG. TNC. This was actually a close game at 2 points in the game, but TNC, they knew the Terrorblade alone couldn't carry this game. If they just keep him stun locked up, if they just keep him locked down, if they initiate on the Terrorblade every single team fight. And they've managed to do an excellent job of that towards the late game. Early on kind of struggling to catch out the Terrorblade out of all people, but
oh, you make me wanna talk back to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. Oh yeah.
warrior.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and with that we're into the draft of the second game of the second to last best of 3 of the day already. We're going to have had at least like 11 hours of Dota today. Back to back as well at that. Rise, they already played a series before this. They gotta feel exhaustion kick in eventually. I mean, even in best of 5s that are played from like fresh players who didn't have to try hard that day, you can see the exhaustion player role, let alone 2 independent series, both of which are really close games. Our team Rise really having to try hard and to sweat. I mean, TNC, they're pretty much legendary when it comes to their past exploits. And in general, a very experienced tier 1 team up against Rise, who are quite new. They have made a name for themselves at a couple of tournaments, but there is literally years of experience difference in these teams. And TNC.Predator, they once again go for a bit of an in-your-face, cocky, aggressive draft with a Nature's Prophet and an Earthshaker. Plenty of lockdown, plenty of global gank potential there. They can just make people's life difficult. I wonder what Rise are gonna go for now. TNC, they even got their custom announcer in Dota. That's like their custom name announced in Dota. That's how well known of a team they are. And I mean, HuyaWorldE-sports, I think this is the right way to go against that kind of a draft when you know the enemy has so much more experience, has so much better teamwork and skill simply because they've had years more practice, then the easiest way of dealing with that is to just stunlock the enemy. Make sure they do not get to move, they do not get to dodge stuff, they do not get to outplay you using their superior skill. TNC.Predator picking up a Riki now, a huge hero for shutting down the Queen of Pain as well as any and all supports. Of course, he does need his level 6 and until then doesn't have a laning stage. But if he can make it to that level 6, if he can just gather enough experience, Snowball can really roll all over Ryze so far. And Ryze's last pick, of course, is going to change that. I would love to see a Slark or something here, but we're going to see about that after these next two bans. And it looks like we finally got the next pick coming out. It's gonna be a Dragon Knight picked up for TNC.Predator last pick. They do need a frontliner for the Riki after all, with Earthshaker already having a pretty huge health pool to work with. But it looks like Ryze gonna roll with the Blade, Terror Blade again. I mean, sure, whatever works for you. That is, after all, a really powerful position 1 carry. You saw what the Illusion Army was capable of. You saw the damage he was capable of outputting on lockdown targets. However, this time around, the Terror to do a lot more pushing because he's up against Nature's Prophet, who can with ease just deal with Terror Blades Illus pushing out the lane by having all of those treants gang up on them. I mean, by the time Terror Blades Illus become too strong, you can always get an Aghanims to make even stronger and even more Illus to push down Terrorblade's base. You can always counter push as the Nature's Prophet. There is a reason why that hero is one of the hardest pushers in the game, but TNC.Predator, if they just get their Riki online, then they can take the series to a pretty swift 2-0. I wonder how well they're going to be able to keep him safe, especially against the Queen of Pain. Once she is level 6, she's going to pay Riki a visit for sure, but with that, I think we can load in here. So we got a bit of a pause. The players are taking that time to play around with the compendium. Really just Riki against Grimstroke. And I mean, those two are gonna be a pretty important combo this game. The plays these two can make are going to be really interesting. Also, no chat, I am not Pinoy. I'm actually from Germany. But enough about that. Let's talk about the game where I think in laning there isn't really much that could happen strangely. I mean, Terrorblade's always the safe lane. Queen of Pain's always mid laner. I mean, we all know the time where this game is really in the late stage is when people get to leave their lane, especially got level 6. So, not really a lot going on. I'd say it's gonna be going to be a lot of action until at the very least everyone hits level 3. We're just gonna see. The laning stage quietly, get as much farm, get as much regen trade going, more importantly. As they get, I mean. We don't want to try kills in this matchup. Neither draft lane, perhaps on the Riki. That's like the one kill potential there is if Riki gets lifted out of position and they can still... Oh wow! I did have myself muted there apparently, and I don't know for how long. New OBS scene, who this guys? But yeah, I talked a lot about the draft too, which you guys apparently missed. And we got ourselves a pretty quiet laning stage until everyone hits level 3. The only real kill potential there is it's over on the top lane, where Riki may get lifted out of position by the Rubik. Still, this Terrorblade is under a lot of pressure here. It's just having a hard time securing himself farm, gets solved up there. As he does now get a lot of last hits at least for face tanking the creep wave and surviving. Very deep gank there. Speaking of very deep ganks, BTL just running the Grimstroke as far from the lane as possible. Really just wants that other support capable of trading with him out of his life, and so Rubik is pretty good at trading with other supports in general. Looking at the last hits, other than the Dragon Knight, who's winning the mid lane hard, of course, because, well, Queen of Pain, who's pretty much made to just trade away regen, to just melt away people's health pools, up against a hero who has a free tango at level 2 permanently on. Can eat tangos in addition to that. That's just too huge. You can't stop a Dragon Knight from ignoring the daggers you put into him and just farming up all the time. So I think it's really gonna be a Terrorblade against people trying to stun Terrorblade kind of game. And our War Runner gonna get stunned. Riki, if he had the backstabs there, that would have already been like 200 more damage. That's how important level 6 is to really start going for kills on the top lane. So far the only real kill potential would otherwise be Centaur getting a couple of retaliate clicks onto the Riki. Riki gets lifted. Just got everybody farming up. No action happening all over the place. I mean, that's just the theme in the Southeast Asian meta I come to find. People tend to play a lot more conservatively, farm a lot more in the early game rather than fighting. I mean, we're going to have a very late first blood here, 4 or 5 minutes, and I mean, I guess TNC.Predator, they only now truly respect their opponents here after that first game where TNC kind of went with a run all over the enemy team draft and didn't quite come online when they meant to, had to struggle to come online, had to fight to come online.
Just what I've been waiting for. You fought and died with honor.
That seems like there's not even going to be much of a brawl for the 5-minute runes. They're just going to be split 50-50. As the real brawl is all about shutting down the respective agility carry. I mean, he got a Terrorblade up against the Riki. Every one of those pulls ahead can shut down the other. Riki with the invis and the backstabs, more importantly. He's able to just fight a Terrorblade, farming in the jungle with like 2-3 illus, but at low health from tanking a couple of creeps, because as Terrorblade you rarely let your illus do all of the tanking. You usually use your health pool in order to keep the illus alive until they're about to take out from the timing. It's gonna... oh, Queen of Pain will be turned on. Can blink out of there though, thanks to a Lich being at the ready to save her. The Nature's Prophet and the Dragon Knight, a lot of push is getting done on that middle tier 1 tower. That's way more than half of the tower's health there. And there's still people rotating in. Over on the top lane, it's gotta be the Centaur War Runner gone on by a Riki who still doesn't have backstabs, but is starting to right click for some serious damage, and that's gonna be a first blood going to the Riki at 7 minutes. Gonna give him a ton of bonus gold, a ton of bonus experience, and now he is level 6, got those backstabs going, can right click people for a ton of damage. Look at that Lich just drop down hit by hit. Riki even just is joining that right click from the Rubik, making sure he gets to the safe side of the fissure. Terrorblade sitting comfortable on top of last hit. If we switch over to gold net worth, we can see that Dragon Knight and Riki both are a little bit ahead of the Terrorblade. Riki is a hero that likes to farm heroes as well. I think Gabby might try to do that, might try to get a couple of early backstab kills going with that Diffu Blade. That TNC, as long as they can play the farming game, only really punish any aggressions from the enemy, and other than that only push when there's no heroes showing. Lich almost gonna go down, just gonna take one more last right from the Nature's Prophet. Both just gonna get to walk out of there. get away scot-free with the bot tier 1 tower now defeated. With TNC.Predator honoring their name and just hunting down Team Rise before they can even get their Terrorblade online. I like this added aggression when you're playing against the Terrorblade, and there's a Grimstroke plus Riki rotation. Terrorblade, I don't think he expected that. Riki, a nice Centaur Warrunner ultimate, turning things around. Riki getting out of there as fast as he can, takes the dagger from the Queen of Pain, but that's only a Grimstroke loss for such a good aggressive, such a proactive play, opening up the map so much and really making it hard for people to farm. Nature's Prophet, he's gonna opt for a mechanism here. He's just gonna teleport into turn team fights, do a couple of right clicks and teleport back out again to push more. I like this red heavy approach from the side of TNC. Lich taking a ton of backstabs. And Queen of Pain seeing that the Riki really hurts as well. Gabby snagged himself a Curry elsewhere on the map. Riki is gonna die with the Nature's Prophet rotating in there. Over on the top lane, a return kill on Riki has been found with the Queen of Pain Sonic Wave. And now it looks like March gets himself out of there, traumatized from just watching his carry be insta-killed. And it looks like Grimstroke gone on once again. There's Riki with a ton of backstabs on the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain gets stunned up to take another backstab. Tower Warrunner ultimate, allowing her to get out of there. And while she gets away, the Grimstroke not quite so lucky. Centaur Warrunner gets to teleport, and that's a very nice pickoff there from Team Rise. They know they're falling behind if they just farm. They know that Terrorblade is still too far from being online to really be a relevant threat either. Once that Queen of Pain ultimate is off cooldown again, we may very well see another gank attempt at any one of these lanes pretty much. You just need to take out any one of the 3 core heroes. Preferably the Nature's Prophet, I think, because he's been doing a lot of the ratting. He's been doing really annoying when it comes to tower damage, and Base getting pressured. Rubik deals Blink Strike and gets away from the Riki, who's now dusted up, slowed up, getting chased down by the Queen of Pain. Nature's Prophet ultimate not quite bouncing favorably, and BTL sidesteps the Grimstroke snipe. Is gonna live. Tell the tale there. This, however, is a good timing to fight for the side of Rise. They run down the Earthshaker and rip. Not really a ton he could do there. Like I said, if the enemy team is outskilling you by a lot, just go for stunts, just go for ambushes. Then all you need to do is catch them by surprise, the prize ones, and they can't move, they can't dodge your stuff. All impressively. Plus, the amount of farming space that's been given to Terrorblade as well as the Queen of Pain is just amazing here. I really gotta compliment that. Lich gonna go down once again. XNL, he's not been having the game of his life. Really only living long enough to throw in ultimate before going down. Queen of Pain rushing that Spirit Vessel. Interesting choice. I do like to see Spirit Vessel and Queen of Pain, but rushing it may seem a little too much for a game where it's mostly lifesteal and Dragonite's regen you're worried about in terms of heals. Plus, like, that mechanism, of course. If there's not a hero like an Oracle that can insta-heal, then I don't really see the point of rushing the Spirit Vessel first. Then again, with how much gold this Queen of Pain has been securing, how much space she's made for the Terrorblade, I definitely think it's a viable option to just get a little bit tankier, make sure you can create more space. On the bottom lane, speaking of tanky, Centaur War Runner gets gone on, gets shielded up by the Lich as well, as now Team Rise running after TNC, looking for return kills, and in comes the Lit from the Rubik, not quite catching the Centaur. Centaur almost going down, but Ricky has to evacuate himself. Terrorblade now brought to the fight with the Metamorphosis. Gets fissured up, gets separated from his team. Knows he can't really rush into the enemy anymore. Terrorblade knew where the Ricky was at. And TNC, they know that Ricky is online right now. It's his timing to fight. If he gets himself a Diffu Blade, it's pretty much the peak of his power curve, so... Ganging up, chasing people like the Terrorblade away while opening up the map bit by bit. Definitely seems like a viable game plan here, especially because they have an Aegis Prophet who can just split push elsewhere on the map. Make sure they're not all 5 committed into a single push. Rubik steals the fissure, gets blinked on, gets killed off, and TNC, they end up revealing that they're all bottom now. However, this tier 2 tower, when the Treants are up, it should just be dead. We're not even gonna wait that long. It's on the mid lane. Queen of Pain with the ultimate trying to kill off the Earthshaker. Earthshaker, however, turning around with a stun on TMO there. And Queen of Pain gets silenced up by the Grimstroke. Trying to get rid of the Inkrave, still taking full damage from it, solving. Queen of Pain has gotten out of there. Instead, the Centaur War Runner has died elsewhere on the map, and the runes are now both going in favor of TNC. Queen of Pain, however, has found herself a regen rune up top. She has her Spirit Vessel finished. I really like going for power threads into an Aghanims now. That's actually a pretty nice build, since if you have that Spirit Vessel already, you now need to make up for the lost momentum. You've just invested in some very expensive health and movement speed. So now you need to make up for the damage your team is lacking because of that in the team fights. There's no easier way to do that than Aghanim Scepter on Queen of Pain. Yeah, it kind of falls off, but by that time the 3 starts to come online, so those two balance each other out quite a bit. TNC still camping the Radiant jungle meanwhile. Team Rise moved their Terrorblade elsewhere to farm once again. This TB, pretty sure he's got a pretty big item coming with how much gold he has. Okay, that's a Dragonlance. I mean, in his range form that's still pretty solid, and he has a ton of stats going on for him now. So I think going for this Ancient Yasha instead of the Manta style may justify a BKB from him soon, or a Skadi or something else to keep him alive. TNC have also done a way better job at shutting down the Terrorblade this game. Dragon Knight taking 2 ultimates to the face, still alive. Armel trying to get out of there while throwing brief fire behind him. But Queen of Pain is gonna secure the kill. Rise trying to frontline, but Ricky instead goes for the much juicier Rubik and gets back out of there. Now Rubik, super low health. Terrorblade decides to use the timing to hit the tier 2 tower for a little bit of damage, but it looks like there's no real team fight going to come from this. Just a small push. Good deal of tower chip damage. I'm really impressed with Team Rise playing so well after having played 3 very long games in a row already. Quite honestly, I'm getting beat from all of this casting. They gotta have to feel the tiredness kick in from all of that playing too. And Blade is opting for that Skadi now. Is looking to tank up, to run people down. If he gets himself Vampire Fangs or something, in addition to that Skadi, it would be so huge. Ricky and Nature's Prophet come on in looking for a kill, but won't find anyone. And there's the Earthshaker now teleporting in. Getting ganked up on. Ricky really wants to the Rubik this time. It's gonna get him. Manages to blink away from the Queen of Pain before getting screamed. That would have really hurt. Down goes the Nature's Prophet. Another nice return kill as the Terrorblade. If he does get to hit people with that Saint Yasha, with that Dragon Lance, he is hitting hard. His only real weakness is, well, not having any kind of anti-big magical nuke when he wants to go for the ultimate or when he wants to position himself well. Pain jumping for the Dragon Knight. It's gonna get stunned up as the Centaur War Runner ultimate. It's gonna have everyone running for Armel, and he's just gonna hit the floor and be dead. That did not take them long at all. Lich. A couple of backstabs from the Ricky, and it's gonna go down. Ricky managed to pay for that one with his life. Will do so as Queen of Pain committing yet another ultimate. Yeah, it's a 2-minute cooldown still, but she's soon going to have that Aghanim Scepter. Even sooner with securing that double kill. Killing of March, and it looks like Rise, they're now pushing in against TNC.Predator here. Really pressuring one of the most impressive Southeast Asian teams. And TNC, what can they really do? I mean, they can get their Nature's Prophet online to right-click faster and stronger. Make sure that he's there every fight. In the backline is right-clicking people. Dragon Knight going for the BKB. That's gonna give him the power to fight for another 5 minutes. But then I feel like they really need big items. This Ricky isn't as huge of a support killer as they'd like. Starts to realize that and put a Battle Fury in the quick buy. I don't think he's gonna go for that, but who knows? I mean, Gabby is really struggling in terms of money. In those fights, always positioning himself perfectly behind the supports, ruining Rubik's life. Team Rise going for a really deep smoke, just all around that top tier 2. Meanwhile, it looks like TNC.Predator. They're thinking about pushing 2 and all group up bottom. Earthshaker is regrouping with the rest of his team though, so even if Team Rise managed to get up in there from behind, it won't dissuade the push in the slightest. So it's gonna be a tier 2 for a tier 2 trade here, at least almost, with Terrorblade still having to do some more work on the top tier 2, but he can just send his Illus without risking his life, and as such, Team Rise decide to go for a Roche here after having lost that bot tier 2 tower. Roche is taking a while, and TNC, they're gonna smoke up. Do they know? Do they suspect that Rise is over near the Roche pit? It looks like they do. They will catch out the Lich, who has just been waiting there for a normal gank without a smoke. Did not see them coming in. Centaur War Runner is gonna be the next one dead. Grimstroke just gets clicked down by a Terrorblade with a Skadi. Queen of Pain ultimate not gonna be enough to make anything happen there. Queen of Pain now turning onto the Dragon Knight while Terrorblade dishing out a ton of damage to the Ricky with the tricks of the trade. Gonna be fine though. Queen of Pain jumps over on the Earthshaker, secures that kill together with the Grimstroke, and well, Grimstroke is online, ladies and gentlemen. What can I say? He's gotten himself a Skadi. He now just needs a butterfly. Is going to take the Aegis here and run at the dire high ground. Queen of Pain got all the catch in the world for him, as well as a nuke for the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight Armel is gonna get knocked down, is gonna get killed off. Gabby just camping the top tier 2 tower, but there is absolutely nothing he can do against this push. Okay, maybe with the Earthshake coming in, and there's the Ricky Smoke, there's the Echo Slam. 2 heroes instantaneously cleared off the map. Terrorblade though, Swift making an Illu from the Ricky. He dishes out amazing damage in exchange, however that's gonna be Lich caught out, Lich killed off. TNC, they are meanwhile getting ratted in. Terrorblade, he has been sending his Illus consistently. He has been having impact even while losing the team fight with his boys. And our War Runner has just been farming a little bit, is saving up for Heaven's Halberd here. The ability to disarm Ricky would be huge, since those backstabs are really starting to hurt, and he only keeps on getting stronger. That agility mechanic scales so well, especially with his edgy gain, and it looks like Ricky actually has a Battle Fury completed. 25 minutes, Battle Fury plus Diffu Blade if he actually has it. Yeah. That's impressive, I gotta say. That's some really good item timing there on the Ricky. Rise going to run down the Dragon Knight. Have plenty of CC from that Lich, but Armel gets his BKB off. Was the 9-second BKB too, so he is gonna be more than just fine. However, Terrorblade can continue pushing. He once again has a team behind him, willing to die for him. Look at how fast the real Terrorblade takes down this tower. It's like freaking full agility morphing, but as a melee hero. Terrorblade just sending some Illus to whack at the tower. No creeps coming through. It's not gonna happen. And we get to see a Courier Snipe here from the Nature's Prophet, who is going to get ran at for that play. Love to be able to get out of there, but isn't gonna be able to. Gets lifted up and killed off. Really nice kill. Immediately responding to a single Courier Snipe. That's how you do it. That's how you have to counter out a Nature's Prophet. The Ricky also pretty much fallen off, but with that Battle Fury and him having really good timing on the BKB plus MKB, I think that could very well change. We could very well see Ricky's next 2 tricks of the trade just be a huge death zone, where everyone that walks in takes damage or cleave damage. Backstabs can cleave, by the way, just throwing that out there, you know. TNC, they're starting to get locked into their base. Terrorblade can just keep shoving out all of the lanes. Aegis is gonna be reclaimed in just a matter of seconds, but as he's now opting for the Hurricane Pike, which is such a great item on Terrorblade, especially because in the melee form, it's still just a 4-step you can use to 4-step yourself onto the target to get that Skadi slow going, to run them down, lock them in place, and prevent your target from getting away. Ricky's still pretty good at defending the high ground. It's gonna get stunned by the Centaur War Runner there, despite no vision. Grimstrove has started saving for his Aghanims. If he could make a Terrorblade Illu, that Aghanim skill that makes that freaking overpowered Illu, you could just see Terrorblade hitting his own team to death. He's just gonna swap health with the Lich there. Be back to full health. And it looks like TNC trying to get out will be denied doing so. At least the Nate's Prophet gets chopped down. Rest of TNC did get back, did put some damage onto the Radiant Tower here. And both of these teams instantaneously forcing out responses from the other, making sure they know they can't defend, even if they want to. Like, either you teleport back immediately and just give your opponent the extra space, the extra time to go for the next objective, split up, position themselves differently, whichever, depending on which team we're talking about. And this push and TP back war, back and forth, has just been highly interesting. And our War Runner on, but not gonna go for a return catch. Now with his teammates in there, he's finally chasing, but Earthshaker and Ricky both have gotten themselves away, sitting in the relative safety of nearby trees. Blade almost got himself a Daedalus as well. Right, he's gonna start critting for a ton. He already crits for a ton. Attacking very fast, and with the Skadi slow, the one thing he's lacking is some kind of sustain other than the Greater Fairy Fire. He can eat at will. Gabby. I'm waiting for him to pick up a Skull Basher to deal with the Terrorblade, but he still doesn't have his BKB despite the Battle Fury getting picked up. Grimstroke got caught in the base where now Terrorblade in the demon form is just gonna put siege to the tower. Can just keep multiplying, making more and more nightmarish illusions. Earthshaker gets targeted. Gets tossed back into two other heroes. Terrorblade, the artillery from behind. Meanwhile, the Echo Slams there. Plus Ricky with the tricks of the trade. Getting 2 support kills. But the issue at hand is still this TB, who's still not really getting countered. Plenty of time left. Okay, Ricky setting up to make a play onto Terrorblade. Will kill off the ranged barracks. And instead jumps for his teammates behind him. If he can kill off the Queen of Pain, this is going to be a pretty favorable fight from now on. As long as they can stay out of the range of the Terrorblade. For as long as his metamorphosis will keep on lasting, but as I say that, it wears off. And now TNC have only lost a single ranged barracks, mostly just because that repair kit is so powerful, and wasting those repair kit charges of course doesn't feel good either. But that could have been the worst case scenario, and it's not for TNC. On the contrary, there you can now stabilize on the Ricky. Still have one last shot for Ricky to whiff the BKB in the next team fight. Go for a big play, go for a really huge distraction, maybe forcing the Terrorblade and the Queen of Pain to chase after him or something. Then activate the BKB to be like, haha, I'm actually immortal. Lich gets cleaved down. Ricky just dances and celebrates. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the Battle Fury, but the amount of damage he's doing to supports is just ridiculous. Dragon Knight with the Blink Dagger and Heaven's Halberd. If he gets himself an Assault Chorus, TNC can definitely try to stand their ground against the Terrorblade, who can't really get much stronger from here on out. He's gonna get a Hurricane Pike, eat a Moonshard, replace 1 or 2 items, and from there on out you got one of the hardest hard carries in the game at the point where he can't get stronger. Whereas Dragon Knight scales nearly as well, and he has Splash to deal with those Illus. Rubik, meanwhile, will just be destroyed on the top lane. RIP BTL. Dead for 70 seconds, no buyback. TNC want to try to use this opening. I mean, now is definitely their power curves. Roshan is up, and they're gonna get an Aegis and then probably try to push down either the top or the mid lane, where there's still tier 2 towers standing. Roche with a couple of backstabs. It's gonna die pretty quickly despite this Ricky being still a bit behind. However, it looks like Team Rise, they want into this Roche pit. Nature's Prophet is there. There's the Terrorblade with the next demon form, and down goes the Nature's Prophet. TB now kind of zoned out of the fight, but the Skadi, he can chase for days. March goes down. So will the Lich, and down goes Queen of Pain next to Ricky. Just dishing out one backstab after another. If he could get the Terrorblade, or even just kite this Terrorblade around while finishing off the Roche would be huge. Terrorblade got stunned, is taking one backstab after the other. But he is pretty darn tanky. Ricky will secure the gem and is now able to mess with Terrorblade as much as he wants. Dragonite still got a few seconds of Dragon's form left, and in he goes. Everyone's stun locking the Terrorblade, trying to keep him from casting his ultimate, and Terrorblade is gonna go down for nearly a K of gold, swinging to the Ricky. TNC, they've done it. They've defeated the raid boss, who has no buyback, is dead for 90 seconds. He's just 90 gold off of buyback too, so actually he can buyback in just a matter of seconds if Centaur is allowed to continue pushing. Terrorblade can buy back. Centaur is gonna die for that one, so TNC, they're gonna have the Aegis for a whole while in which they can push now, in which they can be the aggressors. Ricky has his MKB finished up. His courier just makes it safely to the secret shop and back. It's the way to the secret shop. Now he just has to get out of there. And there we go, initiation on the Grimstroke. Grimstroke taking a ton of damage to the face, and it's gonna go down to the Queen of Pain with her amazing right click ability. The mid tier 2 tower getting melted here by the Dragon Knight. Still just an amazing pusher. BTL counter-ratting, pushing in the bot lane, but that was only the tier 2, and TNC, they're looking for far, far more. Will kill off XNL, will kill off TMO, and now tier 3 tower starting to take chip damage, while top also a huge creep wave pushing in, making short work of any tower in its path. Dragon Knight gonna help out with the last tier 2 tower still standing in the entire game, but the Dire's base is hurting. So Team Rise, they're gonna pull ahead in terms of gold net worth more and more as the game continues now. They can, just by means of the TB Illus and like maybe rotating one support over there, continue to red, but Ricky's got like just found a Lich kill who has no buyback as he dared venture out of the base to ward for just a split second too long. And Ricky saving up for that nullifier to have even more catch, to have even more lockdown. Slow people down for eternity. Rubik stunned up and taken down with ease as Nature's Prophet starting to right click for a lot of damage. Centaur War Runner over on the top lane died as well, and now Team Rise, they're only a Terrorblade and the Queen of Pain, which then again is all they need to win a team fight if everything goes right. So it's gonna be a hard high ground siege. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, there is a TB Illu still. Man fighting up as many creeps as he can, still trying to just secure this Medirex, keep the pressure going. TNC, they're pushing so hard. There's the Queen of Pain ultimate, only connecting on the Ricky. Not quite the way they had that one planned, but Queen of Pain does have an Aghanims, can do that soon again, and at least did get rid of the creeps. Ricky realizes Terrorblade hurts too much to contest this high ground that easily. TNC, they have to go for a kill if they want this Terrorblade dead, and nobody can really do anything about TB. Grimstroke still forced to sit in base and defend against these endless creep waves, pushing down the bottom lane. Take the last lane of Medi Barracks, and As such, TNC, they're still the aggressors. They still need to either outmaneuver the Terrorblade or just straight up kill him. The Lich just gonna die instantaneously again at the same high ground where Ricky has been camping this entire time, and now he can afford Sacred Relic from the secret shop without even having left this rough area of the map. That just goes to show you how Rickies do business. They're dirty, they're lazy, they stab people in the back a bazillion times. I wonder if Ricky is gonna save his buyback or just straight up rush the nullifier. I mean, GPM is pretty irrelevant at this point. Everyone is starting to get 5 or 6 slot. Terrorblade, who is 6 slotted, is just gonna get locked down as he was saving up for an MKB, and it looks like Terrorblade is dead for the first time. Does have buyback available, but this is really not the way you want this to go. Blade, he was worth 600 gold and made up like 70% of Ryze's damage at this point. The rest of Ryze's damage is being put on those bottom melee racks. There is, however, a Centaur Illu made by the Grimstroke, made to hit the Centaur, and those Illus are amazing. Dark Reflections, they hit so freaking hard. Take a ton of damage too, but hey, you can just keep spamming those out. Being using Centaur is not gonna get the melee racks here, and is gonna pay for that with his life. Although, admittedly, he did create a lot of space for potential defense down at the middle lane, but it is a Ricky and a Dragonite. Those two in conjunction with one another deal a ton of damage. Down goes the Queen of Pain. Down goes the Rubik, who has shifted into Dragonite form. Terrorblade, Rubik instantaneously buying back both. Roche still a while till it's up again. However, TNC, they've pretty much secured themselves a solid 10k gold lead at this point. Ricky, he... Wow! Oh man, I feel so sorry for XNL. At this point he's getting tipped, and I understand why. 3 times he tried to deward that very same high ground. 3 times he got torn apart by a Ricky who's just been camping there. But as a support, sometimes you know you have to deward this high ground. You have to do something about this to secure your team the ability to even walk out of the base. But if you do, you just feed for it. It's a real difficult spot to be in. And sometimes you just gamble and you gamble wrong and this happens. But now TNC, they're starting to really push in. They're starting to really run down again against Team Ryze at the 42-minute mark almost. It's been a pretty long game. One of the few reasons that TNC has such good late game scaling, other than the Ricky just being insane and Dragonite being an AoE ranged carry, is the fact that this Grimstroke just had so much impact the Dark Portrait can get. Used and abused here for ages. If he hits that on a Terrorblade in his ranged form, that fight is just won for TNC. Terrorblade, he has evolved to the point beyond boost. Queen of Pain just casually ulting down creep waves. TNC, they're waiting for the final Roche of the game to grab the Aegis, finish off the enemy's base. If they lose the Roche fight, it could very much turn out the other way around, but Ricky now finds a double damage rune, and he does the ton, and is pretty happy with that. Jumps forward behind BTL before the enemy team even know what hit him, and is gonna continue running down support. First the supports, then the Queen of Pain. March died in the backlines, but Ricky has already gotten himself a triple kill while Terrorblade is still being kited and now gets killed off by the Dark Illusion. Did you see that Terrorblade there just tear him apart? The only one left alive is the Queen of Pain, and Grimstroke just out-carried an insanely fat Terrorblade who was 1v5ing the entire time this game. Just imagine that 1v5ing and getting killed by the ultimate of a support because you hit yourself so hard. I mean, as if Blade Mail wasn't bad enough of an item, right? Queen of Pain comes in with an amazing ultimate to defend, but doesn't get to get out of there, live to tell the story. So with that, the Radiant engine is just gonna be melted. GG, well played. 2-0 for TNC.Predator here. We got ourselves a bit of the break, and then we got the last game of the day. TNC, the last series of the day. It's the best of 2 actually. TNC up against Boom. So see you guys then. I'm